What's happening, people? Hope you guys are well. Welcome back to another review of Off the Top, where I literally go off the top and share my thoughts about the Warriors versus the Cowboys on Saturday night, and what a performance it was. For me, probably the best performance of the season thus far in terms of defensively, attack-wise, balance, effort, and obviously a whole host of players coming back for injury. I just saw a really good performance that gives me confidence moving forward. But guys, if you are here for the first time, please give us a subscribe and also smash the like button. We are trying to grow our content here, and you are here for all your New Zealand Warriors content at Waz Up TV. Now, I was pretty confident going into this game. I saw the changes throughout the week. We saw Capewell drop to the bench, and we also saw Tohu drop to the bench. I think there's been some, obviously, evaluation done. Webby and the staff have looked at what the best options are. Dylan Walker, in those 2 weeks previous, just took the team to a different level and a different play style, a bit more evenly balanced. And I think the halves benefited from that. The whole team benefited from his energy being up on the play so well. So for the captain to take that call and understand he's coming from the bench, he took it pretty well. We saw the interview where he said, I don't really usually like to play from the bench. I get more nervous, but in reality, that might be the best option for him moving forward. And to remember that he previously was doing so much work defensively, so much work in terms of minutes-wise, is that, at this stage in his career, it's probably best that he comes off the bench or has a lower minutes. And so what we saw on Saturday, I thought was a really good balance. And especially with the team kind of, up in terms of we're up by 20 points at times, or 25, 26 points. He got to play a bit longer minutes and get his legs under him. So I think Dylan starting just gives so much direction and shape to the attack. But Tohu coming off the bench still gives us strength and balance as well. So that was good to see. Capewell coming off the bench as well. Now for me, Marata is our starting back row for me. I just saw too much, and he's so good at shifting, defensively. He can cover the ground when he's getting off a read, making sure that ball has gone past or out the back. He can then move on, and Tamaiti can hold on the outside a bit more. And I'm feeling that channel, even when SJ comes back in, it should be pretty safe. We should be able to get a bit more control defensively. If you remember, when we had Capewell there, and early in the season, the team was disjointed as well, but I felt as though there was a lot more attacking rates down that left side, and I think that might have been because of Capewell and Sean having to wait a little bit, trusting in Capewell. But I think Marata's so good. He's so athletic. He can cover so much ground, and his reaction times are really sharp too. He understands, okay, the guy's gone past me, the lead runner. I need to really sprint out and get to that next man. And that inside pressure, we saw it where Dearden dropped the ball. He gives it inside pressure, cutting down the time from the half to make decisions. So I think moving forward defensively, he's been really good. And then attacking, you saw those early sets where they do two shift wide to Dylan Walker. Dylan passes to him, they hit the half, Dearden, and just causing, getting those halves to work defensively is so important. And to have that leg drive and strength, he's definitely the guy for me. Now, obviously, Capewell came in and played a bit of right edge. That's okay. I think Marata's coming in and he does that job initially. He sets that tone. So it's important that when he's on the field, we maximize him. And then if Capewell comes in and does a job, it's more defensive. We know Capewell doesn't have quite that running and impact power, but defensively, hopefully he can hold up. But I still feel as though Marata, for how many minutes we can get out of him, he has to be that starting back row, and just awesome to see. So those changes in and of itself, reflecting back on it, is that Webby, I feel, understands the situation, and has made the changes that I think we as fans could agree with. And so that's exciting. But in terms of the actual game itself, I want to give a big shout out to Egan. I thought he just got back into his work. I think from a system style thing, this is probably the third straight win against the Cowboys under Webby, and I just think we really match up physically with their forward pack. They're not intimidating. They had Neem, and I think they had Cotter, and they're just a little bit too small, especially for our style. We have to account and be able to deal with the runs that we have, especially from the back five. And then adding in and the forwards there, you have to be able to account for them. I love the look of Jackson Ford. You looked at the work he got. He almost got up to 30 meters, I think, in the first half. High work rate, wants to get on the ball. That's probably a better role for him currently, where he's getting one out from the ruck and there's no passes at the line where he's making knock-ons. We did see that he did get in the line again and kind of ruined a try. Those are the little details where you have to handbrake like Barnett. Barnett's really good at he'll go hard at the line. You have to handbrake and pull out. You have to have that detail about you. So for me, Ford, he has to tighten up in the area, but ultimately his work rate around the defensively and even run style, I mean, if you add that with Adams' numbers, that's a good balance for me. So would love to see that moving forward, especially coming up against a Stormer. I think a stronger forward pack. See how he aims up, see if those numbers still are quite the same. But I thought his work rate in all those areas was just absolutely awesome. And for me, back to business as usual. I think they put that to rest, whatever happened. And that try that he got, it was almost too easy. It was very soft in terms of, I'm a Cowboys fan, that was soft. But he just has that way. He's elusive. He's strong. He's got every attribute that you want in a front rower in the modern game. And that was great to see him coming back to normal. So, yeah, that front row for me were really great in the first half. And then, obviously, for me, his chance was absolutely awesome too. His work rate, his touches on the ball. I mean, the first try got disallowed, but, the setup play for Dallin. And then, obviously, himself getting that try for himself, fending off Valentine Holmes. Just those little effort areas. Again, the try that he scored, he just chased it to the end and got rewarded for it. So for me, he's just been playing really well. Defensively as well, he covered well. Out the back, he tapped out, kicks in the goal line. He got rid of the ball when he needed to. And then his fourth tackle runs were just awesome, cutting back in behind the ruck. Had a nice little bit of line breaks. Him and Tamati actually getting a nice little touch together. Little 1-2 package there. So again, I thought he was absolutely awesome. And then Montoya, he's been so good these last couple of weeks, and you can't see him losing a spot because of it. So safe under that high wall. He's going through his processes really well, where he sees the ball, he knows the process of what he has to do, and he's been very good at it. And then the little details for him, around, just deep defensively. There was a good one where he jammed in and then Pompey covered out the back. So knowing their timings, their comms, what they're doing in each situation, I think he's been a lot more efficient and effective. And I think that's going to be great moving forward. Pompey, what a great performance from him in total. I think he had a good handle on that edge. Kicking game, wow, his kicking has been really good. He nailed one from the sideline. I think he missed one early, but then obviously got into it and nailed all of his kicks. And we just, you need the goal kicking for me is all about building points, scoreboard pressure. It just puts that pressure on the other team to, if you're up by 12, it's a lot more intimidating than be up by 10 or 8, So, when those points start to add up, and if you get most of your kicks, it starts to force other teams mentally to get into, a bit more riskier play or a lot more errors. So I love seeing that from him. I thought defensively he was really sound, and again, just his running, post-contact meters, driving through, the little details of what he's doing, I think he's just been really awesome. So into Berry, what a game from him. 2 tries. Thought he was on the ball. He was on the pace. There was a one-on-one tackle he made on Val Holmes early. Clinical. We needed that. It might have been early or mid first half. Little details defensively, I thought he was really sound. And then attack, scoring off that short ball, he regathered it. It was a tough, that is a tough ball to get, but happy that he regathered, followed through and scored the try. And then the second try, obviously, just calling it, putting a little grubber behind. And that was really good too. So, yeah, the back five for me, great game, great balance to it, great cohesion across the board. Everyone chipped in well. Now into the halves. Start with Tamati, obviously the focal point of the game. He was just awesome. Again, settling, kind of showing that he is really that 7 that can lead a team around. The balance that he's found on attack, the confidence, you can see him pointing and telling guys to get the spots. I think he's really rounded out and come to understand the offense that Webby wants and feels confident, and you can tell now that he's really starting to settle into what they're trying to do. The balance, I talk about those sweep plays where it's like a diamond shape. He's almost like a quarterback in a shotgun position. he's right behind Egan at the ruck on the goal line attack. And then, you know, depending on what look he wants to go for, he'll switch late to either left or right and set that shape, depending on what way they want to attack. And I think he's just been very good. Even attacking at the line, he's willing to go to the line. He's willing to take a carry. He's willing to put himself in those positions to present himself as a threat. He saw a great line break in the second half where he nearly could have scored, which set up the CNK try with the Dallin tap back. So the kicking game was well balanced too. I thought the long kicking game was okay. There was one or two kicks maybe got caught and there was 7 tackles set, but the other kicks, the little chips in behind, the grubber for a repeat set was really good. And other little, him and CHT were just really good at balancing out the different types of kicks they wanted to use to keep the pressure on the Cowboys. And I thought, just again, in terms of his evaluation analysis of him as a player moving forward, he's definitely a 7 in my eyes. And the big thing is that if you looked at CHT, he didn't get many touches himself. Although CHT did really well with what he got. The 6 role can be a little bit redundant in the system. I think the focal points really are Dylan Walker, the lock, and then the 7. Although what I like about Tamaiti is it's more evenly balanced to the left and right. So the question of whether or not Tamaiti should come back in as a 6, and how that will look with Sean. Sean will have a different mindset to how Tamaiti, you know, how Sean plays, and we might see Tamaiti being redundant again. So again, it will have to depend on what the system asks of it. I think Tamaiti's done a good job of balancing either side, going left or right. We'll have to see what Sean does, but again, like I'm saying, the lock position and the halfback are kind of the decision makers in the system, and the 5/8 is almost just a link player or a setup guy. But if Sean comes back and it's more evenly balanced, I think Tamaiti could be really effective. But we'll have to wait and see. And again, if it doesn't work out, I don't want to be too hard on Tamaiti and say, he's a crap player, because we've seen it, that he can really work and flourish under what Webby's implemented. It's just a matter of the role that he would have to take as a 6. He might not be suited to that role. And that might be better suited to someone like a CHT who has that left-sided kick, who's good sound defensively, just like Tamaiti, but also might just be that right foil for Sean. So it's a tough one. I hope that Tamaiti and Sean works, but at the same time, if it doesn't, you might have to look at CHT. But those are my reasonings for it. I thought the bench was really good. Actually, shout out to Barnett. I think he's the only one I kind of missed. Solid again. What we need on that edge. I think that moving forward inside is probably the best move. And keeping Barnett out there on the edge, I think that does wonders. It keeps both those edges, New Cordy and Barnett, are just those. If you see, defenses are starting to sit back a bit now defensively on those edges. The halfbacks aren't jamming in as much. So they're holding a lot, waiting to make decisions on if we go out the back or if we go to the lead runner. And when they do get the ball, it's a strong, hard line, and they're just committing those defenders in. So I really like the balance we've got with both those two on the edges. The bench was great, I thought, as well. They got everything right. I thought Jazz was good impact. Again, he's proven himself that he's going to be quality and that he's going to maintain what he's doing. I think he's looking really fit and he's just getting a good feel. I think he's in a flow right now. He's a guy that you want to just keep playing as long as he stays healthy, and I think he's going to do really well. Who else did we have? Kate Well off the bench, I again thought was pretty good. Again, brings out a little bit of experience. Not the physical threat of a new Cordy and not as damaging, but little details around it. I wonder if he can build into his fitness a bit more. Again, he's not my favourite, but if we're going to go on experience and what the need is, he can go from right to left, and it looked kind of seamless on the edges. Didn't really look out of place, but happy to have him in there for now until we really get down to the nitty gritty and really trying to figure out what the best balance on the bench is. Sorry, I might be forgetting someone. So we had Jazz, we had Lussick. Lussick was good too. I thought Lussick was really sharp. Passing is on point. Starting to get out of dummy half as well. Starting to get his own little game going a bit. I think Lusick for a lot of people is kind of hit and miss, but he's definitely a slow grind. He's definitely a player that gives a lot consistently of what he's got. But in terms of getting those improvements out of him, it's going to just take a little bit of a time to do that. But yeah, I thought he had a good game, and then Tohu as well was really good too. He looked, it looked really good with him coming off the bench. He had a lot more energy, defensively strong, and even in his the attacking shape, he didn't overplay his hand. He got the ball to Tamaide when it needed to go to Tamaide, and was well balanced. So I think, that role that he's got going, we'll have to wait and see. I think if it continues to develop, I think him and Dills, for me, those two, as long as they stay fit and healthy, doesn't matter who starts or what, majority. I think we just need them both to get through the rest of the season, and we need them fresh. So I think Webby will balance that out minutes-wise and keeping them both equally fresh and moving forward. So yeah, that's my kind of review, guys. But just quickly moving on to the Storm. Watched a little bit of the Storm again. They got a strong full pack physically. I think this game coming up is going to be huge. They will match up well with us, and they'll put a lot of pressure on us defensively. I think they'll be a bit more aggressive on the edges. I think Tamaide or whoever's playing Sean or whoever it might be, it'll be a tough night. They'll have to be one of the performances of the season for me to beat the Storm. They just look informed. They got pace and power. They got well balanced. Hughes is playing really well at the moment. So yeah, coming home, we got to accept that we got to be able to put a performance in front of our home crowd. We're good at going away. For example, you had a feeling, you probably could have had a feeling that we beat Penrith at Magic Round because of that underdog mentality and how good we are with that when we're not expected to win. But the games where we're at home, and even though may not be expected to beat the Storm, they're obviously at the top of the table. We're not. But we're on a roll here. We've had 3 games on the trot. The feeling's good. It's going to be a sold-out crowd, but we've got to live up to these expectations, and we've got to be able to deliver a result against a team we haven't beaten, I think it was in 9 or 10 years. That's just too long, and this is the time right now with guys coming back off a dominant performance against the Cowboys team. Yes, Origin depleted, energy's off, but that's the NRL. Every team's going to have off games. But at the same time, I think we're showing that we're a better team than most teams. But to come up against a Storm at home, we're going to have to put in a really, really strong performance. So that's my thoughts anyway, guys. I will wait to see the team list, do a little review of that. But we'll get back to you, and we'll have to really break that one down as soon as that team list comes out. But thank you for hanging out with me. That's my little review. Enjoy the rest of the week. It's going to be a massive build-up. A lot to think about, a lot of decisions to make if Sean comes in. What do you do with Tamaide? RTS, if he's fit, is he around the corner? Do you bring him in? Do you mix it up with what's been working with Pompey and Montoya, and now Berry and Dallon's looking to find some momentum? So there's those types of things, the questions that need to be asked. But ultimately, we'll wait till the team list tomorrow night, and then we'll make a little preview as well. But enjoy the rest of your week. Hope it goes quickly. I just can't wait to get to Saturday. But up the wires, stay safe. Much love. Peace.